AI, ML, blockchain, all buzzwords, right? You cannot use cards over here.
That's it you need in India right now.
Yeah, you do not need anything else.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Domain Podium. This is Ramesh Chugh. And in today's session, we will talk about how digital banking helps revolutionize the banking experience of an end user. And on the virtual stage, we have Ms. Libin joining us today from Germany to spread this knowledge and understand the power of digital banking. She has more than 15 years of experience in project and team management in the cards and finance domain. She is a true gem of the payment realm, and she has been contributing and designing the payment processing customer experiences and testing the new modernized payments technologies for various banks and payments processors across the globe. In her current role, she's associated with 6th headquarters for the finance department and responsible for end-to-end testing of financial products. So let me welcome her on the stage. Thank you so much, Libin, for joining us today. Pleasure having you here with us.
Pleasure is all mine, Ramesh. It has always been great fun to work with you. You have been great support, and I'm really honored to share this space with you on the Domain Podium. Having said this, you are a great example on how you're giving back to the community by imparting knowledge and sharing this knowledge of niche payment and card technology. So kudos to you, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, Libin, for joining us. So let us get started with our discussion today. The topic that we have selected is unlocking the power of digital mobile banking applications. So what do you think, like in your view, how would you define a banking mobile application, and what do you believe that makes it so powerful in today's financial landscape? And you know, the most people, rather than visiting these days bank or as a branch, you know, so physical branch, they like to have banking in their own hands. Like if you remember, like how our grandparents or our parents used to take services from the bank is by visiting them, you know, physically in a branch and waiting in a queue just for availing simple services like cash withdrawal or deposit, right? But now if we look at banking, maybe after 2 decades, now it has completely changed. So what is your general perspective, Libin? Like, what are the differences in the banking system that you see that adding a lot of values in day-to-day life?
Right. Okay. Because since you sparked that memory of going to bank, I wanted to add this. I still remember going with my dad when his salary comes in. We go to the bank, get the money out, and you have the small passport where you have to enter your balance, right?
Yeah.
You do not know what has happened in between. And then you see the balance, then pick up some money, and then come back and buy groceries with the cash.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So here, and the first of every month, the queues are longer because everybody wants to pick their salary up. And what I see right now is today, our balance, we just check on a mobile, right? All we see is your salary credited. We know how much is the balance. And with notification, wow, we get to see the entire dynamics has changed, right? How my parents did banking and how I approach banking. So if you ask me what a mobile is for me, I think one, it's a bank branch on my mobile and app.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bank salesperson on my, because I see two ways. From the banking side, it's a salesperson. But for me, it's a banking branch. I don't have to go anywhere. It's like even in Germany, I can sit here and log into an Indian bank account to see my balance over there. So this is where we are. So it's not restricted to a physical location. It's robust. Available 24/7. Tell me the days when it is Sunday and you need some money urgently. We are not dependent on that. So we are like instant gratification. I want right now, I have the money. I want to see right now, I have it on my mobile. So I think that's the kind of change banking mobile has brought to our life.
Yeah.
Talking about the dynamics from the bank side, just imagine, they have so much data about us. They know how Ramesh Chugh does his shopping from, what he buys. Does he love to travel or does he love to buy books? So the bank has a salesperson, like in a sense, they can always push products to you. Like, oh, we have this very good credit card, which will give you better loyalty points, right? So I think it's beneficial on both sides. They do not have to invest on people sitting there in a counter where you wouldn't even go to them to ask for a product. Here, you get it on your mobile. So that's where how much advancement has been made in the banking sector right now.
Yeah, exactly, and not limited to maybe making payments or availing some of the basic services through the mobile application. I think the world has changed a lot in the last couple of years, and even if you look at how we used to earlier, like our parents, okay, they used to apply for any banking services or a saving account. They have to fill up some forms and visit, maybe either there's some agent will visit them or they will visit a branch, and then there's a KYC process, okay, that goes hand in hand, and it takes a couple of days for you to get your account created and then activated. And from there, and where we are today is like everything is online, available in our hands, in our mobile application, right? So we do onboarding, and during the onboarding process, even KYC is also digital these days. So there's hardly any dependencies where a physical appearance or a physical presence of any individual is needed. So that's the change, kind of massive change. I agree with you that we have seen. So that's probably Libin, one side of the story, right, where we know there are a lot of functionalities, features are available on the mobile applications, like car control, velocities, limits, that a normal user can go and start utilizing those services. But in addition to all these services, okay, and the availability of utilizing one such service, okay, is one aspect of it. Whereas the other aspect is like whether I, as a user, I understand these features and functionality. If you think about an ordinary segment of our, of our society, the people, those who may be not familiar with these many options and the functionalities available on the banking applications. So what do you think, like, number one, what kind of facilities do these mobile applications provide? And then second is like how we can educate an average user and can give them a direction to start utilizing these kind of features on day-to-day basis. So maybe knowing your perspective on this one, if you can help our viewers to understand, Libin.
Definitely. But I think first I would like to start with the banking apps. What is the must-haves in an app, right? Yeah. Because I know you refer to card velocity, but I think this would be something not many people would understand, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But so let's start with the must-have on an app. So when I talk about must-have, one is balance. You should see your balance when you open your mobile app, right? Second, the transaction history. So where was my transaction done? And another feature is you should be able to block or unblock your card. Given that, because it's lost or stolen, you don't have to stand up in a queue or call up for a long waiting time, with long waiting time, asking to block your card, whereas the fraud would have been done then. So these are, I think, the basic things that should be on an app. Now, talking about value-based, right? So these came in based on the consumer-based analysis that the banks does. So one thing that you said, card control. That is an amazing feature in card, because most of the users do not use, or whoever are apprehensive of using a mobile app, worry about security. Like, how secure is my mobile app? Can I just go and enter my card data, just look into things? But then if you start understanding card controls, I think that's the best thing about using a mobile app. So I'll give some examples. Like when you talk about card control, you control your card on limits, location-based, spend-based. So when I say location-based, let's say I'm someone who does not travel out of Munich here. So I can just block the other countries. I just ensure that my card is only used within this demographic region. So that I avoid fraud. I do not rely on somebody else to do that for me. I do it myself, right? And let's say second is spend. So I know that I'm not going to travel for the next 6 months. I'm going to be at home. So I block certain merchants, which involve like the flight or some other merchants where I know that I wouldn't do a transaction. So these are the controls that I place on my card, right? With this, I think that that gives you a secure feeling that Your card will not be used on fraudulent on such areas where you have already blocked.
Yeah.
And one last one, when you mentioned velocity, this is important. Now, what is that is daily limit,
Mhm.
weekly limit, monthly limits. Now, this is something, when you hear it, you feel that you have to be a mathematician to do that, right? Because how much would you spend daily? You can set a limit. And then how much weekly and how much monthly. But this is quite important. Because as a person, when you keep control, like, okay, daily I wouldn't spend more than 100 euros or 2000 INRs, I can just place that limit. And that also ensures that I do not cross the limit, or I'm quite aware that I've spent more than what I've set for myself. Same, the monthly budget, right? So these are things that would really enhance your banking experience, because you're not let anyone else dictate the rules for you, but you have the control on your cards. So these are some amazing features. But let's not stop there. As you said, how do we educate people?
Yeah, exactly. But that's really important, Libin. Okay, because you and me, especially, we came from this industry, and it's been around more than 15 years. We are seeing that journey. We have seen that revolution from maybe 20 decades ago to now, when there was no digital mobile application, and which exists today to a level that you can do everything in your hands. Right, you don't have to step out of your house. But normal user, how do they understand these features? You just now mentioned about geographical control, right? How
Right.
many users know about this feature? Velocity still is a simple feature I can understand. Many of the users would want to control their daily limits and all those things. But features like geographical control, or a merchant control, or blocking or unblocking a merchant, okay, or maybe enabling or disabling domestic international transactions. How many users would actually understand these features on a mobile application and go and try to, maybe test those features or utilize it? So
Right.
that education marks still a big question, that whether a normal person is aware of it or not.
Right. And I think what you're saying is true, because we belong to this industry. I have tested these features personally, like as the same thing, enabling e-com and
Yeah.
disabling, like, just online or tap and go transactions, all this. So these are, we have tested when this was like at the prime time. But talking about normal users, like let's say my dad, he is
Mhm.
still apprehensive using a mobile app.
Uh, yeah.
He wouldn't even try. He would say that, yeah, if I get to see a balance, I'm more than happy. I don't want to go back and do something or lose out money. So I think this kind of education is tough, because I think
Mhm.
with the latest generation, right, with the Gen Z and everybody,
Yeah.
these guys are disruptive. They go through the mobile, they see whatever possible scenarios they tested, see it. But I would encourage people to actually go through their apps, right? Because not all banks provide all options that we speak about right now, right?
Correct.
That
Correct.
also is a limitation. Now, like geographical or demographic location, not every bank provides. So people can just say, I do not have this option. So, what I would recommend is people to go through their app, see what benefits them, because some of the products or services could be tailor made or could be just specific to a particular bank. That would be an edge service that a bank provides to you. Get to know them, read
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yeah, because I see people, there is an FAQ. I know it goes 3 or 4 pages long, but let's read them, because money matters.
And always, if you're in doubt, you have an option. You can pick up your phone and you can dial to customer care, and that's how you can try to understand a feature available on the mobile applications. So there are plenty of ways how a user can understand, but how many of them actually go down that path and try to understand a feature and then use is very difficult to say. But I really appreciate your help and spreading this knowledge to all the viewers. So do you want to give any specific message to the entire audience, so that those who are in doubt, okay, and unsure about any of the feature functionalities on the mobile application, after watching this video they start utilizing it? Do you want to say anything? Yeah.
If I would have to say one word, Google is free. Please Google.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
Google will answer a lot of questions, no doubt.
Yes.
But that's a niche market, and this segment. Not every time you'll get some information available online easily to refer, but to an
Mhm.
extent, yeah, to some level, I agree with you. Maybe people can
Mhm.
definitely Google it and then can find the informations. Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from, Ramesh. Yes, with Google, you have loads of information and it changes
Lots.
from bank to bank, right?
Yeah.
But what I would recommend is we have this chat box, chatbot, right? We
Yeah.
can ask
Yeah.
questions. If you can also call the customer care, as you said, but or you, I think there are too many. You can write an email. You can read the FAQs. The FAQs will always have a question. I've seen banks invest a lot of money for every value added services. It doesn't come cheap, right? It's
Mhm.
not just a pure service. It is the security is also in place. There is so much heavy investment on each of the services that a bank provides to a user like you and me. So I think
Yeah.
so there are always FAQs and a lot of documentation go behind it. But it's up to us how we value money, what we want to use money for, how we want to use, right? Because right now we have so many mediums of spending money,
Yeah.
not just one credit or debit card. We
True.
spend through multiple, and we have multiple banking apps. We purchase multiple shopping apps. So we spend through multiple areas, and managing money has become a bigger task right now, right? So
Mhm.
education, I think foremost it lies with us too. I think bank tries the way they can. They just add documentation. They love bureaucracy.
Yeah.
But coming back to us, yes. But I would also, at this point, also, I would like to recommend there are a lot of influencers right now. I see a lot of shorts and reels talking about managing finance, how you can save
Mm.
money, credit cards. I see a lot of them. So it just, you would have to just follow a few of the influencers whom you relate to learn more about it. But mind you, even there are things that they might be sponsored, they would have a biased opinion. But that
Yeah.
comes from, like you would have to understand where and what needs to be followed. What would you need to manage your money efficiently when using an app? So yeah, there are different streams right now, Ramesh. So it's not like how our parents had, right? When they wanted to know something, they would have to stand in a queue, go speak to a banker, a teller to understand how a process worked. For us, it's much easier right now. I think we should utilize that option. So
Yeah.
yes.
And and one of the another aspect you just mentioned about the security also, right? You did mention about like because this is one of the significant concerns that over the period of time you would
Mhm.
hear more often, like people's security is being compromised, or maybe in any form. It could be in form of somewhere, as a user we are making mistakes, and somewhere technology is making a mistake. You never know, there can be some glitches in the technologies, right? So
Mhm.
considering the financial data, because this is a powerful tool which helps managing the financial data of an individual, right? So
Mhm.
the security is really important here, and and for a bank or any financial institute to ensure that they meet all the security standards. Okay, how difficult or how easy it is for any processor or a banking system to ensure that the customer data in hand that they get in a multiple forms, maybe a customer demographic is there, right? Customer's name, mobile number, email, a lot of information is there that they record during any digital onboarding process. Then they also get access to customers KYC data, right? And
Right.
once these processes are done, I think the customer is onboarded. The next is the banks are generating customers account, credit card, debit card information, their security informations like the PIN data, CVV data. A lot of sensitive information is actually getting stored. And in some of the banking applications, I have even seen that you can see your card number. You just maybe go through some authentication and then you can start seeing your card number. Similarly, you can see your pins, you can see your CVV data. So how do like a bank, how does a bank ensures these all information that they have collected during this journey, how do they ensure the security of these customer data?
Security, if you ask me, is a valid concern, right?
Yes.
And I think we have, okay, there was this federal research study. They came up
Mhm.
saying that 70% of people
Mhm.
are apprehensive of using mobile apps because few of them felt that that's not safe at all or somewhat
Mhm.
safe.
Mhm.
So that's one of the reasons why people do not explore more. They feel that, something might not be secure. Uh, exploring the unknown. So that's where
Mhm.
they're worried about. But talking about security, there are two kinds of data. One is personal data and financial data, if you look into it.
Yeah.
So there are laws there are governance in place, not
Mm-hmm.
always mandated,
Mm-hmm.
but from a banking point of view, yes, there are a few governance laws required by association or the country laws,
Mm-hmm.
like for personal data, right? So we have this laws in place, that is for the EU, the GDPR, and there is FTC for US. And for the UK, we have the DPA, the Data Protection Act. And
Mm-hmm.
recently for India, we have the DPD, so that is digital protection and data protection. So
Yeah.
that was passed in 2023. So because even India is understanding the requirement of having your personal data secure. Having said that, then we have the financial data protection, right? So that was mandated by PSD2. So this is not driven by government, but mostly by associations because people want to be compliant.
Mm-hmm.
So the banks adhere to this, the PSD2, the PCI DSS. So this is where your personal information, like your CVV number, your PIN number, your name, should be masked. It's a concern if you're still able to see it, Ramesh, but ideally, I think now there is a lot of pressure on the banks or the financial institution to mask their numbers.
Yeah, that is actually, Libin, that's allowed, I guess. In my understanding, seeing my own data on a mobile application is okay because that's
It is okay
right.
because you
But
authenticated it and you
yeah,
authorized, right?
yes,
So yeah.
exactly. But not someone else should see my data. Is my,
Oh, I
is the
shouldn't be able
main
to see
concern.
yours.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what the concern comes up, right? If someone else is seeing my data, get access to my information, this is where the bank role is, right? They have to ensure that security is already in place. Yeah.
Yeah, but one thing is true. There is so much data that the bank has, right?
Yeah.
I think the liability, a lot of liabilities on the bank to keep the data secure, but it doesn't stop there. Let's be as individual. We also have to be more aware on from where we download the apps from. Right, coming to because we are talking about digital, so I would say if you're downloading a banking app, go to the banking website and download it, so you know that it's not a fake app, right? And number two is like you have to educate yourself on this phishing attempts where you see this messages coming in with different ID, get to read the URLs properly. So I think there's a lot with digitalization. You have to be more aware how secure you should keep your data, and
Yeah.
also it
Mhm.
depends on where you try to open your account to, right? You have to get to the best of banks who
True.
prioritizes on security, right? So the responsibility lies with the user to understand from where they're downloading an app, what kind of bank they're choosing to, and when they log into a bank account, are they properly authenticated? So
Mhm.
is there two-factor authentication? When we say two-factor, like do you get a separate OTP? Is there some push notification like using an authenticator? Or like there are different apps nowadays. So the banks always lies with third parties to ensure that we have the two-factor authentication in place. So I think there's an awareness that goes with an individual too.
Yep.
How they download an app, how they are more aware on what kind of messages they're dealing with, what links they're clicking on. So
Mhm.
security is, I think it's everybody's business, not just the bank. It might
Right.
look unpopular, but I think it's our money. We should be more aware, is where I'm coming from.
So while we're discussing about security, Libin, the next thing that I wanted to bring to the table is what's the role of these technologies? Because these days these mobile applications are leveraged with these emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and blockchain. And how do these technologies help build these kind of features on the mobile application, something like pattern based used or maybe pattern based fraud detections, right? So
Mhm.
what is that, from a technology perspective, banks are able to make the best use of them and trying to bring a lot of feature functionalities. And not only that, they also ensure at the same time these cutting edge technologies are fully secure and providing the customers a guarantee and an insurance that when they are utilizing these services, it is backed up by these and these technologies. You must have seen banks are marketing it, right? So their data is backed up by high-end security technologies, and that's how they are building it. So what do you think about this? How does this integration between a mobile application and these cutting-edge technologies, okay, helping banks to, acquire more customers and get more users onboarded on their mobile applications and get more business?
Okay. AI, ML, blockchain, all buzzwords, right? Fintech has been
True.
buzzing for last few years with these words, and if you do not know what it means, oh, okay. So yes, this is something. It's an exciting thing. First, okay, where I want to look at it for the last decade, I guess, a bank has been heavily investing mainly on cloud, right? Moving to
Yeah.
cloud on-prem. From all the projects that we have been, I think we majorly worked on modernization. So most of the banks, I can see now more than 90% of the bank have moved from their legacy banking system to the modernized systems, wherein getting AI or ML logarithms systems up and running is become quite easy for them. And I think this is one of the way where banks can have an edge over competition, right? Okay, so I think that was one. And talking about AI, artificial intelligence, what I see now mostly in bank, they're using this in the chatbot as chatbots. So this is lovely. Yes, I don't have to call and click multiple numbers, waiting for my turn, talking to a person, but I get a chatbot here who just on the go in just 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Need and the language preferences. Tell me, I'm in a place where English is not common. So it is, how should I say? That is a brilliant feature for people like me who can just type in English and I get an answer. So AI is good that way. And I think two major uses I've seen is for the AI. AI is the chatbot, and the second is when there's a security threats. AI can help you understand. The same with ML too. So with machine learning, it can go through all the data. Okay, and let's say with machine learning, a bank can understand what is Ramesh Chugh's personal needs, what's Libin's personal needs or financial needs. Let's put it that way. How are we spending? What are our pattern of spending? What are we like how we use money in our day-to-day life? So I think machine learning can accomplish bank to have an edge by giving you a personalized products. That's where I see machine learning coming into picture, or the big data analytics, whichever you would like to call. So I feel this data analytics helps bank to have more products, or the fintech world to get in where they can say, okay, I think we see these guys love to buy certain items, or like let's say you love podcast, so items related to this, let's push this, loyalty points around it. So everything is personalized around it.
Yeah, exactly. Personalized, I think personalized product or personalized services is another buzzword, trust me, these days, which
People need
banking.
it.
Yeah, exactly. People need it.
Right?
Banks are using it. I think they're using these trends.
Right. And I've seen they can offer loans. You're just thinking about a loan to buy something, you're checking, and already you've got a message saying, do you need loan?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
That's how machine learning has come into picture. So even without thinking, you're applying for a loan, you have not even thought things over. You just go. It has become easy is another thing. And there is this like called recurring deposits, right? So for a small time saving, like you would like to buy this particular iPhone 15 that you want to buy. So this is the cost. How much time would I need to invest? The bank can give analytics and tell you like, okay, monthly keep this way, and then you can do it. So these are all I think this is where all ML comes into picture. Knowing or unknowing, bank takes all your data, runs through this data, has
Yeah,
this vast
exactly.
information about you. So how they use it for good business, they have this edge. So they get more customers, they can retain customers with them, right? Because each sector or each generation would need different type of services. So bank would be able to understand and provide it to them. So that's one with ML. And I think with blockchain is more of pattern based, right? So I think that will be really helpful in cutting down the KYC process. So minimal processes in place, because nobody nowadays have patience to sit through or type in 5 pages of your information. Nobody has that kind of patience. So I think using all these buzzwords, buzz technologies really helps bank to have an edge, right? And have this competition and have good loyalty, a loyal customer base for them to work on. So that's good in one ways. Now, there comes another aspect. The second part of your question, where you asked me so much financial data, sensitive data, right?
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, they are able to record my behavior, my choices, my pattern, like my way of spending, right? So they're able to record everything. And with the help of machine learning, they're able to offer me a customized product or a customized services. So isn't it a threat to my own privacy also? So, because my data is somehow in the hands of the banks, and they can use wherever they want.
Yeah. Where I see an issue is, because at least it's financial, right? But where I see is this hackers, cyber security issues that I see, because we have this data with them, right? What if somebody hacks one fine day? They know everything about Ramesh or Libin, right? So this is where I'm worried about. So with bank, I think there is a lot of responsibility for them to invest in, getting this tested more. On how the cyber security side or the security wise more testing involved to ensure, or to let's say to assure their customer that we are secure, we use this data for so and so reason, and there's a transparency. I think that would help in the long way. And I think in future there would be clear-cut laws which would mandate things, because otherwise this is going to be too much. Like, as you said, people are getting more and more aware about sensitive information and how and the information should be used.
That's true. And trust me, because at the end, it brings a lot of value to you as a user. So it brings a lot of convenience also. But yeah, you pay maybe a cost to it sometime if your data is being compromised. But that's also, I guess, not something which will happen very often. It could be a rare scenario. But at the end too, because all these technologies are helping a user to get used to the different features and functionalities and start utilizing or availing these services from the bank. But that's really interesting and amazing to see. But
yeah, what you said is true. That was a good thing that you said, that sometimes convenience outweighs.
It's a convenience,
yeah. Well, let's say you would like with the apps, right? Let's say if it tells you if you spend 5,000 more this month, you would have to get a loan.
Exactly.
Things like that.
And then they will start giving you EMI options also. If you make a big payment of maybe $20,000, and then they will say, start populating, okay, you can convert this into EMIs, right? So all
this is already in place in few of the banks.
Yeah, almost every bank. Every bank is doing
huge.
it.
So break it into 12 months installment. Yeah, that's the reason why the economy is booming, right?
Yeah. And trust me, people are using it. And that's how banks make money. The moment you convert it into EMI, you fall under a trap of, I can say, paying EMI every month, and there's some interest, some taxes, and all those things. But at the end, as long as I said, it's giving me a lot of flexibility. So if I need it, I would definitely, love to use these functionalities. See, on the other side, with the rise of this digital wallets, Libin, or maybe QR code based payments, like these are normal trends these days, and every few days or months or weeks you will see like a new technologies or a new functionalities are being advertised by various banks or various financial institutes. So what do you think, in your opinion, how do banks stay on top of these competitions in the market with other banks and other service providers, and especially where these technologies, where these features are rapidly changing, and there's no guarantee what you see today, you may not see the same thing tomorrow, or maybe you see the next version of it, completely a different flavor of the functionality that you may be using a couple of days ago. Now it adds a lot of different flavor to it. So what's your opinion on these changes that the industry have seen, and still we are seeing it every day, and how can a bank stay adaptive to these functionalities and stay on top of all the competitions which they may have with other service providers?
Digital wallets, isn't that the best buzzword in our fintech industry, right? So going for a jog and just having a wearable on you, all you have to do is just tap and collect your smoothie or a coffee.
Mhm.
Isn't that the most convenient thing? Having said that, your question was on how a bank can have an edge on the competition. They would have to stay with the competition,
Yeah.
stay ahead, think innovative, or at least be with the along with the other banks where this is going. Because with digital wallet, I can see it totally depends on your on your smartphone operating system, whether it's an
Yeah.
iOS, Android, the types of pay given based on your wearable brand too. So there are too many vendors out there, or let's say too many partners out there, which the bank has to cater to. You give more options to a customer is happy. Because
Mhm.
let's say I'm in favor of a particular brand that I wear, and I would want my digital wallet to be compatible with that. I would prefer that. Why
Yeah.
would I change completely my brand just to cater to a digital wallet? So the bank has to understand the consumer base, as I said again and again, because
Yeah.
without having that kind of data,
Mhm.
banks can't come up with new ideas or new products or services. So they completely rely on this. So having said this, more options is best. I know more sometimes is confusing, but with the current generation and with the current times that we are living, more is never enough, honestly.
And the other thing is, Libin, like you have been in India and being in Germany also for quite some time. So how do you see that both these markets are different from each other, India and Germany? Because whereas in India, we all know how popular the QR code payments are. It's quite everywhere you go out, you just scan a QR code and you make a payment, right? But how about Germany? Is it like also popular there, or what kind of payment methods or payment acceptance people are using in Germany?
Okay. I think this answer might surprise you a bit. Cash is still a king in Germany.
Yeah,
So
is it there? Cash.
yes, cash is more
Ah.
widely used. There are outlets who would only use cash. You cannot use cards over here.
Mm.
And it's like, and few of the outlets you can use anything. So it's like,
Mhm.
let's say here people are more, how should I say, more apprehensive about security,
Mhm.
data, sharing those
Mhm.
data. So most of the people still believe cash is
Okay.
important here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yes, there is a trend that I see. But yes, we cannot compare with India. India is way ahead in digitalization
Yeah,
because
that's
for
right.
us, I think we do not even have to carry cash on you. You do not even have to
No.
have that. Right.
Yeah.
All you just need is a wearable or your mobile. That's it.
Mobile. That's it. Your mobile you need. You just install one of the
Enough.
wallet application and then
Yes.
you're done. That's it you need in India right now.
Yeah. You do not need anything else.
Correct.
But in Germany, you would at least need 20 euros on you because there are places who wouldn't. Now with
Okay.
but there are QR code payments
Mhm.
mostly through for collections. When there is an amount pending, they send you a QR code where you can just scan it and pay it to the respective merchants. So that's in place, but again, still on papers, not the way how
Okay.
it works here, where a merchant has a
Uh-huh.
separate QR code. So here it's more on emails or
Okay.
um,
But
mails
but
that come to you.
but what's dominating, like a card transactions where a customer carries a card, or maybe a digital transaction there in Germany?
Cash and then card. Yeah,
Cash
digital
and
is
card.
the third.
Ah,
Mhm.
so that's an interesting fact to know about Germany, Libin, because cash is still dominating, and digital payments or QR code payments are still not in the race. I guess, uh, and in other rest of the world also, there are many countries, okay, where you still can people still prefer cash as a main, mode of payment or transactions. I'm moving towards the open banking and API integrations, Libin. We just now talked about the cutting edge technologies, integration of those technologies with the banking applications, right? So
Mm.
I just wanted to touch base with you and understand how these open banking and API integrations, because what a bank, as a banker, what they're creating is only a front end, or maybe a user interface, okay,
Mhm.
for a mobile applications or any website, okay, net banking, etc. What's there in the backend is most probably in most of the scenario, I think it's only an API integrations or event based or extract based integration, right? So
Right.
how these APIs, benefits a user and end user or a consumer, and of course to a financial institute. So what do you think like about these open banking API trends and these integrations?
Okay. Open banking is there to stay. It's the future. What I see, because open banking is fintech at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So open banking is a system where financial bodies or the banks integrate with them, because circling back to the question that we had initially, talking about value added services, a
Yeah.
bank alone cannot provide a value add, right?
Mhm.
Because there are other systems like the loan. If you have
Mhm.
to give a loan, so that is another third party you can liaise with. And let's say for an FD, because that's
Mhm.
another aggregator, financial aggregator that you would speak to, or
Mhm.
if it's about loyalty points. So having
Mhm.
said this, integration is the core for a bank, right?
Mhm.
And integration becomes quite successful with the help of open banking.
Mhm.
Now, with open banking, the concept came in with PSD2, wherein a bank was required to share information
Mhm.
with open banking or fintech to provide services. Right. And when we talk about APIs are just like, how should I say, the catalyst among these two. So
Mhm.
this helps in just to, send the information or receive the information. So
True.
this really helps banking in shaping next era, how it's going to be, because more value, as I said, more is less
Mhm.
is the generation that we live in, right? Regardless, if you
Yeah.
have like multiple value added services, you would need more. Every customer would have different needs. So that can be only met if we have this open banking in place, where
Yeah.
the banks lies with fintechs, financial aggregators, to give the loan that the customer looks for, to give the loyalty points that a customer looks for, and this can be enhanced. So I think this trend is going to stay, and this is going to stay for long. And being just a conservative bank will not work for a long way. It
Mhm.
A bank would have to move out of being traditional and become more tech savvy. Move leave their core
True.
banking legacy systems behind. Move to cloud. Get use of AI, ML for all this, because this is where, if the bank does not fill this gap, mind you,
Mhm.
there are fintechs who will get down to business,
Exactly.
already have, and they will fill the gap, and they're just going to take the business away from the banks. So I think banks already know about it, so they have put a lot of thought and money on it, and I see a lot of bank integrating with a lot of fintechs to just provide more
Yeah.
value added services to customer. So
Yeah.
this is the future, next future, if you ask me.
But you brought a very valid point about the fintechs, okay? Because uh, in only in India, if you talk about, there has been many fintech companies, those who have started issuing cards in the past. So eventually, what they are doing is, most of those companies, in my opinion, okay, they are just building a mobile application, and rest all is it's just a backend provided by maybe a third party processor, or maybe some banks, right? So ultimately they are getting a share of the bank's business in that case, right? So this is where they are, rather than a bank, a fintech is doing acquisition of the customer with the help of some fancy mobile applications. They
Yes.
just attract the user, and that's how they get onboarded with such a mobile applications, and their marketing strategies are always superior. I can say that. So but still, I think banks are leading the financial market in this industry, but fintechs are also there in that race, I guess. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I'd like to add one other point about neobanks. I think you would have
Yeah.
heard them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
neobank. Yes, yeah.
Yes, and it's the latest rave in the town, right? It's like
Yeah.
the KYC is quite easy. You just can log in, just look at you, see your documentation, all done. You just get the
Yeah.
card very same day. Virtual
Yeah.
cards, right? And with digital wallets, who bothers if you need a physical card? No. So
No.
I think neobanks has also become the next buzzword, right? But only one thing a user should understand is, are they abided by the mandates, the laws? These
True.
are the
That's
places where, if we think about security,
Mhm.
this is where the awareness of the users come into picture, right? So as you said, what about the people who are listening to us? I think they should be more aware of where they're investing or putting their money in. Using some value add features, use it. But then you have to understand, how much laws are they following? How is your data stored? How secure is your data with them? So I think it lies with the user that they take an informed decision where they would want their money to be in.
Yeah. I would like to request you, Libin, before we conclude our discussion, and help us understand how important is a user education and the financial literacy, okay, in ensuring that individuals like average people, they do understand the best use of these features and functionality, and when they are using it, they are taking an informed decision, an educated decision, not just blindly, opening up a mobile application and start utilizing it. Because my purpose of this YouTube channel and is like, after watching these sessions, and the people, those who are confused, okay, they should start understanding those features by taking help from FAQs, as you mentioned, or maybe using chatbots or any other sources of informations. And then the purpose is they should start utilizing those services. These are really a value-added services. If you start using it, you will see the magic. You will see the differences. So what is that important message for the entire audience around this user education from your side, Libin?
Okay. In this modern times, right? Financial illiteracy is inexcusable, right? We have to be literate enough because it's our money. We work hard to get that money, right? And using this money and understanding how your money can make more money is very important in day-to-day life. But still, researchers show that people do not know. There are people who still lack financial literacy. But I don't blame people. If you ask me, even our education system, they teach us math and biology, but nobody teaches us finance, right? How to manage your money. How do you do your analysis? Because basically, if you look at it from our parents' side, the basic thing they did was they took out a diary, wrote down their household expenses, income, vegetables, groceries, so things like that. So they managed everything in a diary, but they did that. I think that discipline they had, I think we should also bring in, learn from them that no, we do not have to write down. That's where our apps come in. They give us the entire spend analysis where it shows that you have spent so much on your rent, your grocery, your income. So this is where it is, the percentage. So you want to go to that fancy, European trip, or you want to buy that fancy mobile. All you have to do is understand where you can cut short, or there are products with the bank that can help you save for that. So you don't take a loan out where you have to pay interest. So as users, we have to start using the services provided by banks. They have invested heavily, right? Some could be good for you. Some would be not so good or not so relevant. Let me put it that way. And all it takes is you start planning, you start looking at it, go through your apps, just see which can be used, which cannot be used, or if this is interesting, what is this feature about? Trust me, using the spend analysis, card controls are the way to go, where you can, save money or control the way you spend money at certain merchants, or even if you're spending, how to save. Investments. I think nowadays most of the apps also suggest new investment plans for you, insurance plans for you. So there are a lot of that out there. So here again, the point comes in is when you take that, which is applicable for you, learn about it, read about it, ask more questions, because here nobody's hurting by asking questions. Just go, the bank will help you with it. Put it in the chat bot.
Bank would actually love to, provide that information. Their customer care representatives are supposed to do that only. If at all you're not able to understand through the maybe information available on the website or mobile applications. That's exactly. A big point.
I would just hope, Ramesh, that after seeing this podcast or session, people do go back and look at their apps and see what they're missing. Just don't use them for just looking at their balances and just their transaction history, right? Rather could go back and see, what are the services provided? Where can I do this? Or where can I use something in my day-to-day life? If not, start writing down to the banks and say that, give me.
Exactly.
Because the bank loves to hear feedback too, and they need most of their customer base so that they create new products and services. I think it starts with you. The education starts with you, so you have to work hard.
Awesome.
About finance.
That's really great, Libin. I think to have you here, and it was, I think, how we started the session today and how we're ending it, a lot of information exchanged. And I'm sure that all the audience and the viewers would definitely get a lot of benefits of watching this video and the podcast. A lot of learning today came up, I guess. So thank you so much for being with us, Libin. Thanks for your time. So thank you so much watching to all my viewers. I hope that you enjoyed the session today. And if you have any question or any doubt, please feel free to leave your question in the comment section. And there is a link provided as well that you can post your queries. So thank you so much. Stay happy, stay connected. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.